She can't
Right.
control it.
It's like, I want you to know that I'm happy for you and I wish nothing but the best for you both. And then the beat drops and you're like, an older version of me, is she perverted like me?
Oh, baby, you got what I need. Yeah, so it all gets lost as soon as he does that.
This is Alanis Morissette's "You Oughta Know," which is a song that I've wanted to talk about on the show for a long, long time. And Biz Marquie's "Just a Friend," which is also one of the most iconic hip hop songs that like everybody knows in the world. But they're both love songs, sorta, or not love songs, I guess, if you want to say it
Kind
like
of
that.
right, kind of like the last two songs. Like it's kind of like we're having a love song day, but it's like the love songs are different.
Yeah, they're very different. Yeah. Like Jagged Little Pill, we talked about this on the previous episode too, that Jagged Little Pill is a perfect album too. There are no bad songs on that record at all either. It was one of those albums that got overplayed to the point it became almost a joke in the mid 90s. People were like tired of it, but you can go back and listen to it now and you're like, "Oh, this shit still is still good."
I mean, I think it sold like 7 or 8 million records. It had like seven top 10 singles or something
Yeah,
of
it was absurd.
for like 2 years, ad nauseum. Yeah, but did all of those things for a reason. Usually, when records burn like that, they usually burn like that for a reason. So I would agree with your
Jagged
assessment.
Little Pill became the best-selling international debut album by a female artist with more than 16 million copies sold in the United States. It has now sold more than 33 million worldwide.
I think part of what made this song work was because I think she kind of filled a little grungy gap for a minute with
Hmm.
this record.
Yeah.
For one, for the grunge lovers, for the Nirvana lovers. I think she
Hmm.
filled some of that gap with the edginess and the grunge type of feel specifically that this record has. But I don't know if there was a love song like this before this.
This is furious.
Yeah, this is
Like,
rage. This is
yeah.
raging uh, lunacy, quite frankly. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's not done with the subtle nature of breakup songs from previous
Mm-mm.
and great songwriters, and she is a great songwriter. And this is kind of like a mold shattering type of record,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, she was 17, 18, 19 when she wrote this. Um, so this is I don't know that she's ever said that it's about the guy from Full House, but he's pretty much said that it's about the guy from Full House, Dave Coulier, Uncle Dave on Full House. That's who the you is in the song. Do you not know this?
It's either
No.
way.
Okay, Uncle Dave from Full House, the blonde guy,
Yeah.
is the you in the song, or he says that. I don't know that she's ever said that that's who it is, but he tells the story of like, um, he is 15 years older, so he would have been like his early 30s probably, and she would have been 18-ish. He tells the story, or I read him tell or about him telling the story where when he like shortly before the song was released, like during the breakup, he was like having dinner with his new significant other, or whatever, and he said, "Hey," she called, and Alanis called, and he said, "Hey, can I call you back for a minute?" And that's where the "I hate to bug you in the middle of dinner" line comes from. And he says that like when he heard that line, he's like, "Shit." That's when he like realized that it was about him. Um, Again, I don't know that she's ever said that that's who it's about.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was.
He from Canada or something? How did they end
I'm
up?
pretty sure. I mean, Coulier is a Canadian name. I assume it is. I
Yeah,
don't know that, but like,
yeah.
and she's Canadian too. Obviously, I know you know that. But
Yeah.
she was a pop star in the
You can't do that on television, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
in kind
yeah.
of a um
And that would have put her in the comedic world, and that could have been where she met him.
yeah, yeah. It could very well have been. But then she releases this whole album um is fury. I mean, not all of the songs are this angry, but this song is
It's dirty.
you take she's taking all of that frustration and rage and like shooting it at him and turning it back on him. And if you're going to treat me like this, then you're going to be immortalized for this.
For your behavior. Yes.
Yes. Which, as far as we can tell, was pretty shitty behavior. Like
this,
it's.
this is hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Mhm.
This is the musical version of the script.
And I love the song for lots of reasons. I mean, she opens both of the verses up actually with the idea like she's trying to be nice, like, and it turns from nice to bitterly sarcastic like that.
She can't control it. She can't
Right.
control it.
It's like, I want you to know that I'm happy for you and I wish nothing but the best for you both. And then the beat drops and you're like, an older version of me, is she perverted like me? And when she go down on you in a theater, like, oh, well, this is not a normal kind of I wish you well song. um,
The bear that you gave to me.
yeah.
Ooh. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, somebody's fucked
Yeah. No.
up.
And the other thing, and one of the ways these two songs connect, actually, this one and the Biz Markie song, is that there's a little wink in both of them. Like there's a little. I know you know what fourth wall stuff is, but I'm gonna say it just for everybody watching. Like where you're speaking like directly to the audience instead, not when you're acting or performing or whatever, you kind of pretend there's a wall between you and the audience. That's the fourth wall.
Mhm.
Where you're like in this world by yourself and you're pretending the audience doesn't exist. But in both of these songs, they kind of break down that wall a little bit and they're speaking like kind of directly to you.
It's kind of like they poke a hole in the wall so you can see and wink right quick, like, see what
Yeah.
I'm doing?
Yeah. There's definitely moments in Alanis' song of, watch me roast this motherfucker. Like it's that kind of,
Yeah.
there's that kind of ethos in there too.
Hmm.
Um,
No, it's
so
got a lot of FUs to it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like she calls him like Mr. Duplicity and like
yeah.
it's like yeah, it's a lot of it's.
That's where the bug you in the middle of dinner line comes from. Yeah.
I think this is how a lot of women feel, but are afraid to react
Hmm.
this way because of how society judges. And
Yeah.
so this touched that nerve in the hearts and the minds of women too. Like this is really what they want to do. This is
Yeah.
really what they want to say. This is really how they feel.
Hmm.
Society doesn't really allow them the freedom to behave this way. And so when Alanis behaved that way, they totally jump out
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
And some of it's teenager too, right? Some of it's
Oh,
she hasn't. Hmm?
a whole lot of it. It's perfect. She was barely a teen herself at the time. She had somewhat of a teen following, but this is what I mean though. That album did so well, the song did so well because it's like, oh no, the 15-year-old loved it, but so did the 35-year-olds who
Yeah.
just got divorced, or the
Hmm.
42-year-old that just spent 7 years with some asshole that never married her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Exactly.
Right. So it worked for them too.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's not just she's roasting him, but she's roasting her too, like the other woman that, I mean, she's calling the first thing you hear about this other woman is she's an older version of me, right? It's a slap in his face.
Yeah, when she says I'm gonna scratch my nails down somebody else's back,
I hope you feel it. And what's the line that comes after that? You remember?
um
Well,
no,
can you feel it? So she is doing it right now. Like, can you feel it? It's not just I hope
oh,
when I scratch my nails down someone else's back. I hope you feel it. Well, can you feel it? Like that's like I'm doing it right
oh,
now.
that's what's
So,
happening. I never thought about it.
oh yeah, it's she's every possible way of throwing it back in his face.
Right.
She's doing it.
Has she ever really explained the rationale for the song? Like the level of
Not that I've
vitriol?
read. No, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously she's angry at this the disintegration of a relationship. Um, but like, and she still plays it live, and she still, um, it's interesting to hear. She released, I don't know, it's been 10 years now ago, uh, an acoustic version of this whole album, like the acoustic versions of all the songs, and it's interesting to hear her sing them as a 35 or 40-year old as opposed to uh 18-year-old, right? So it changes a little bit. Like it's still giving honor to like the feelings that I had when I was a teenager, right? But it's not like I don't get the impression that she feels like that now, right?
Is she married with kids?
She is, I don't think so. No. I know she dated Ryan Reynolds for a long time, but she is not anymore. I don't know if she's married now.
Sorry to hear that.
Um, and the two of them are amicable and they're fine. Like they're not. That was just this is not really working out with our schedules and stuff. So let's just. It was not a violent or rage filled breakup. Yeah, she got married in 2010.
Somebody stable coming to your life does tend to bring a calming
Yeah.
force to it.
And
I
she's
don't
obviously done a lot of work with herself too. I mean, like the album that comes out after Jagged Little Pill is already much more like
subdued.
subdued. And it's just like I am I'm grateful for all the experiences. The biggest song on that album was called Thank You. Um it's it's about all of the things that she's thankful for, and like she's thankful for having gone through all this shit because now it makes her a better person. That's a very basic version. Our emotions run on 11 when we're 18. Like that's just part of the
Youthful exuberance.
yeah. So it is almost like an exorcism. Like you kind of get that out of your system and then it's better, I guess. Um it's an incredible song though. Like it was
It was
also
everywhere.
the first single off Jagged Little Pill, and so it's not only a great song, it was our introduction, most people's introduction to Alanis Morissette. The other connection you mentioned Nirvana earlier. The other connection that they have between the two groups is that the drummer that plays for Alanis Morissette on this album is Taylor Hawkins, who most famously was the drummer for the Foo Fighters until his death last year. Um, and so they
Didn't
not
know that.
poached him, but like they said, "You want to come do this?" And he said, "Yeah." So that's another one of the crossovers between those groups of people too.
Stylistically, somewhere in the realm of each other. Okay,
Yeah,
totally dig that. You want to flip over
yeah.
the Biz?
Yeah, let's do it.
Biz Markie is like the class clown of hip hop in a lot of
Hmm.
ways,
Yeah.
and this record and the visual aid along with it is
Hmm.
part of the reason why. But it's really kind of funny because he's kind of where Atlantis is enraged that she's been played.
Hmm.
He's playful about being played, and
Right.
that's why I picked this because it's like, oh well, I couldn't pick a song that matched what Atlantis does, so I tried to bring some ice to her fire.
It's a perfect combination. I mean, the situations are very similar, right? Like we both got played. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
connecting
like
tissue.
and pretty much like Biz is saying in a nice way, it's like I met a groupie backstage, but I was
Hmm.
really, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But like the groupie played me, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Because those stories usually work the other way around.
Well, I was about to say, there's a girl like I hate to say it, it is like, I used to always say, well, who are you expecting? Rappers, artists, musicians to sleep with? Usually each other. And usually there's a woman in every city or women in every city, and they make themselves seen and available at these events. And so this girl to me is one of those girls. Like the girls are the players in this situation too.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like there are girls down here in Atlanta that got these rapper dudes and have helped these dudes have paid for them to start businesses and
Hmm.
live in condos and walk around in Chanel and Louis all the time. It's like no, 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 no. So they're playing the game too. So
Hmm.
he's really this is what I mean. And Biz is kind of sneaky with it. He's kind of exposing some of the player nature of the females
Hmm.
here by poking fun at it. But it's really talking about you really shouldn't trust these type of women. It's really kind of like the overall message that I get, you
Yeah.
know? Because listen to how he describes her. The way I met her was on tour at a concert. She had long hair.
You're in a
And
short mini skirt. Yep.
I just got on stage dripping, pouring with sweat. I was walking through the crowd, and guess who I met? He's letting you know it's like
Mhm.
that was probably more intentional by her than by
Yeah.
me. I was concerned with the show. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's really so this is it's kind of just a friend is really really funny and entertaining, and everybody sings and dances along. It's really a cautionary tale, kind
It
of
is a
like
cautionary tale.
it's a
Absolutely.
cautionary tale, just like You Oughta Know is. Yeah, it's just done playfully, and so this
Hmm.
is a style to make fights, not what you do, but how you do it. He's explaining the player in a playful way.
Hmm. Yeah, I
But
always thought of the song as sort of a joke. I mean, it wasn't like a Weird Al kind of joke, but like it's um and I don't mean that as disrespect to Biz Markie. I mean that like as he was joking, not he is a joke. I want to be clear about that.
right,
Um and it's and there's lots of silly moments and the rhymes are I don't use the word juvenile, but like they're they're silly. And there are plenty of lines that end with not rhymes too, um, at all that are just kind of
I mean,
left there.
Biz is from the old school too. So Biz is an entertainer and a showman,
Yeah,
a beatboxer. He's
yeah.
just and he's one of those guys. Biz is like popped up everywhere doing everything too.
Hmm.
So he's just one of those guys. He was never considered to be, quote unquote, a top notch rapper. You know what I mean? Big
Okay,
Daddy Kane, a lot of his stuff, like The Vapors by Biz Markie, Big Daddy Kane wrote that.
okay,
Big Daddy Kane wrote a lot of business stuff. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So Biz was more of an entertainer. So this is him in his entertainer mode, but it's one of his finest moments. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Look,
Yeah.
I took the flicks and she was enthused. I said, "How'd you like the show?" She said, "I was very amused."
Muse. Yeah.
As in, she was more into taking the photograph with me than she was into my show.
Hmm.
Listen, I asked her name. She said, "Blah
Blah
blah blah."
blah blah. Yep.
So he's talking about the woman on this record, and it's like you have to pay attention to like catch work because it's not he's not doing it the way Alanis is doing it, like bam, bam, bam. He's taking a little jab here, a little jab there, so you can get a full picture of who the woman is,
Hmm.
not who he is. He's trying to let you know who the woman is. So listen, I asked, "Do you have a man?" She tried to pretend. She said, "No, I don't. I only have a friend." You mean in every city?
Hmm.
This is groupie. I have a friend in every city. You know what I mean? Of course
Yeah.
you do. You know? So this is about that woman. And it's just like, and I hate to say it, people literally pay attention to none of the wordplay and none of the message of this song because of the hook.
Yeah. And
Oh, baby, you got what I need. Yeah, so it all gets lost as soon as he does that
yeah.
because
Yeah. Go ahead.
because Biz is the class clown too. So this is like his showmanship moment. So when he's doing that, people get lost in that and they forget all the stuff that he's saying in the song. Mm-hmm.
All these more. This is a cautionary tale too. Like just like KRS is a cautionary tale. It's a different kind of cautionary tale, but it's another gotta watch your back kind of story. Um, but yeah, like the one of my major notes here is, I mean, we talk all the time on this show about sing along hooks, and this is one of the most iconic sing
Mm-hmm.
along ones that there is. Um, and it's singing that's bad, and it seems to be bad on purpose. And I think
Yes,
in many ways that has helped the song in its longevity too, because nobody has to feel bad about whether they can sing to sing along with it. You're just making you're singing it like, and nobody cares what you sound like. If he's singing on record like that, and one would assume he can actually sing better than this, but like it's it takes away the feeling that you have to be a good singer to sing along with it.
the hook is the total buy-in. The hook is intentionally poorly sang because it removes anybody else's embarrassment or inhibitions about singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like people get lost in the hook because, like, think about it, and you know this. This is like the song that you can pull up after you've like had four margaritas and it's karaoke night
Yeah.
and you're pissy drunk and you don't know any of the words or how to put them together. But when the hook, oh baby, and you got
You. Yeah. Sure. But the hook
so
is also, I mean, coming back around to our conversation about hooks in previous episodes, like the sing alongness of that hook is why I knew the song and everybody knows this song and didn't know the KRS-One one, right? Like that's why this one has crossed over in a way that KRS's didn't. And clearly the KRS-One song is more lyrically proficient. The storytelling is at a whole nother level. But like I mean, the storytelling in this one's really good too. It's not, I don't want to dismiss that, but it's serious in a way that the song is not serious, I guess.
KRS-One is serious in a way that Biz isn't serious.
Yeah. And again, I don't mean that as an insult to either one of them. That's just like how they move through the world. Like that's just,
That's just who they are.
and both of those things are fine and wonderful. Like
That's who
it's
they are as
different.
person and characters. Yes.
But yeah, I just want to make sure we talked about that. Like the hook is why the song did the crossover, and that like that you could go into like any bar in Atlanta or Charlotte or whatever and say, "Oh baby, you like, and you got what I need," like, and everybody was, it'd be a sing along in like
Yes,
30 seconds, one that everybody knows.
it is, and it's funny. It makes me realize it's like, is this one of hip hop's 50 biggest records? Because the way that we're talking about it, it sounds like it. You know what I mean?
It's as far as like crossover appeal and bringing people into whatever, like that's
I
it's
feel
pretty
like
important.
I feel like in hip hop culture, our Biz Markie record is "Nobody Beats the Biz."
Hmm.
Are you familiar with "Nobody Beats
I
the
don't know
Biz"?
that song now.
You've heard it, that's a rap record that you've heard before a bunch,
Right.
but you didn't know that it was Biz. Like
Okay.
really heard the beat and the drop and like all that.
Okay.
It's been sampled so many times too, so you probably know the record. I think because it's more what we would call a pure hip hop record,
Right.
just a friend. But it's like no, now that we're talking about it, it's like yeah, everybody does know this song because of
Hmm.
this hook, and it's hard to deny. And then it also makes you realize it's like is this one of hip hop's best hooks actually?
It's one of the most important ones, I think. I mean, I don't get to make that decision, but like,
Important is a good word because I don't know if it's one of its best hooks, but it's definitely one of its most important because now I'm thinking about it. You know,
hmm
man, I want to see if Big Daddy Kane wrote "Just a Friend."
hmm
Because Kane wrote a lot of business stuff, and to be honest with you, I just forgot. No, he wrote this. Yeah, Biz wrote this.
mm.
I kind of felt like Biz wrote it because it's not
It
as
does
lyrical.
feel like that to me.
Well, it's not lyrical as the stuff that Kane wrote because you know, like
Yeah.
Kane wrote Vapors, and the Vapors actually has some similar themes and tones.
Hmm.
Just a friend. It's just explained different because it's Kane.
Right. That's a
Right.
whole different level of
Lyric.
seriousness again. Right. Right.
Yeah, seriousness and lyricism. Yeah, yeah. This
No, the
serious,
hook,
bro. That's what I mean when I'm saying Biz is the class clown too. I'm saying that like in a good way.
yeah. No disrespect at all.
Like there's a whole bunch of other serious dudes in the room around the time, like Rakim and Kane and Cool
Yeah.
G Rap, ARS. It's like Slick Rick and Biz were the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be silly sometimes. It's good. It's good. Like,
Right. But I kind of wanted to pick a record too that kind of like looked at, you know, that person that does you wrong through a different lens
right.
too. It can be happy and infectious if done right too.
Yeah, it is.
Gut wrenching and angst driven.
Yeah, the other one's a catharsis. Like, oh fuck you. Like it's getting that kind of out of your system. And this one is like
And
he's making fun of both her and himself in the song.
right. And this is one of the few times where we've had this occur where the more lyrically dense
Hmm.
written record falls on the popular culture side of things
Yeah.
instead of hip hop side. And that's part of what made me choose Biz too, because you know, the first record that I chose, it's like part of why I chose it was because I wanted to find something wordplay wise that could match. But
Hmm.
then I was like, when you sent me back your thoughts, I was like, well, let me not try to match the wordplay. Let
Yeah.
me try to the ethos a little better.
Yeah. And these two are perfect together. They're exactly right. Now, the hook of this song, the of Biz Marquie's song, is like again, I could like walk into my classroom with, you know, 15-year-olds and start singing this, and they would all start singing along. Actually, they probably wouldn't because they are teenagers and they're scared to do it in public. But like they all know the song too. It's and it's there are not many songs in the world that you could go into just about every room and start singing it, and that people would start singing along with you.
Oh,
You can do it with this one. You could probably do it with Bohemian Rhapsody. You could do it with like maybe "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. There's not many though that that everybody that become sing-alongs when you put them on in the room.
No, you're right, and that's what made me ask myself, is this one of hip hop's 50 best songs? Because it is one of our hip hop songs that translate and goes around into every room. Like, as much as I love Nothing But a G Thing, not everybody knows the words to that hook
No,
like they know this. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, not everybody knows Cream. They
Hmm.
reminisce over you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, know this. There are people that don't know those records that know this record, so there's something to it.
Hmm.
Yeah. I didn't even realize how special this record really was till we started talking about it, actually.
Yeah,
This,
that's one of the joys of this show is like I learn stuff like the
yeah,
stuff that we talked about you too, where you said you didn't realize it until I explained it or whatever. Like I was realizing that as I was explaining it. Like it was like coming to me as it goes too. So
yeah,
when you teach somebody about something or just have a conversation about it, it helps your own understanding, I
yeah.
guess, as well.
You're on yeah, yeah. Like I learned. Like I mean, shoot, you taught me today. I didn't. I'm about to go listen to this REN KRS One song that I've never heard in my life.